creating navigable waterways for transportation, more specifically, canals and locks. First, I will define what canals and locks are, and also talk about their uses. After that, I will explain why canals and locks were built. Then I'm going to talk about the short and long-term effects of canals and locks, and finally, navigable waterways with canals and locks. What is a navigable waterway? A body of water such as a river, canal, or lake is navigable if it is deep, wide, and calm, enough for a water vessel, for example, a boat, to pass safely. Such a navigable water is called a waterway, preferably with few obstructions against direct traverse that need avoiding, such as rocks, reefs, or trees. What are canals and locks, and what are they used for? What is a canal? A canal is a human-made waterway that allows boats and ships to pass from one body of water to another. Canals are also used to transport water for irrigation and other human uses. There are two types of canals, waterways and aqueducts. Waterways are the navigable parts of a body of water. They can be located within a bay or open sea, connect two or more water bodies, or even form networks within a city. Aqueducts are used exclusively to transport water for drinking, agriculture, and hydroelectric power. What is a lock? A lock usually consists of a watertight basin known as a lock chamber, which is used to raise or lower the water level as required. Boats are raised or lowered by filling or emptying the lock chamber. Gates at each bay of the lock chamber allow the boats to enter and leave. The gates are operated by various hydraulic, electric, or manually operated systems, depending on the canal. How a lock works and what it is used for. Why were canals and locks built in the first place? Canals were built as a way of transporting goods around the country. Before canals were built, moving goods around was difficult as there were no engines. Items such as coal and food had to be moved by horse and cart. This was slow, and one horse could not pull much weight across the bumpy ground. The purpose of locks and dams is to create a series of steps in which river tows and other boats either climb or descend as they travel upstream or downstream. Short and long-term effects of canals and locks. Canals provide deep water, nutrient-enriched habitats for expansion of non-native pest plants such as water lettuce, hydilla, and water hyacinth. These plants can modify water chemistry, deplete oxygen levels, shade out native species, decrease water flow, and interfere with navigation and flood control. Short-term effects. Canals draw water from surrounding wetlands. In combination with reduced water deliveries, this results in completely dry land during the dry season, diminished aquatic habitat during the wet season, soil loss, and flattening of the peat surface. Canals also alter surface water chemistry by directly exposing surface water to the bedrock. Navigation. I will talk about the navigable waterways with canals and locks. What is a navigable waterway? A navigable waterway includes a canal and any other body of water created or altered as a result of the construction of any work, and are those waterways where the public has a right to navigate the water as a highway. More on canals. Canals and inland waterways, natural or artificial waterways used for irrigation, crop irrigation, water supply, or drainage. Transport by inland waterways, as you see on the picture closest to the left, may be on navigable rivers like the one in the next photo, or those made navigable by canalization like the Somersetshire, England, or on artificial waterways called canals like the one you see on the right. Some more information on locks. On canalized rivers, the present trend is for locks to be deeper, particularly where they form an integral part of a hydroelectric dam. On the Rhone, the lock at Donzerimatt-Rhone has a depth of 24 meters, or 80 feet. In Portugal, where the Douro River was developed in the early 1970s for power and navigation, the Carpatello lock has a depth of 35 meters, or 114 feet. Call to action. Between 2000 and 2014, the average delay per lock nearly doubled from 64 minutes to 121 minutes. 49% of vessels experienced delays in 2014. These delays take a toll on our economy, but can be addressed through adequate infrastructure investment. To help protect rural industries, facilitate international trade, and improve economic efficiency, inland waterways must be included with any proposed infrastructure plan. Conclusion: why do inland waterways matter? Inland waterways complement both highways and railways, together providing a national multimodal freight on transportation system. In a study by the University of Tennessee and the University of Kentucky, experts found that inland waterways were responsible for nearly 550,000 domestic jobs, $29 billion in income, and $125 billion in aggregate economic output in 1 year alone. Inland waterways provide a low-cost transportation mechanism for farmers to reach both domestic and international markets. These trade benefits do not just extend to agriculture. In 2014, 72% of goods intended for international trade were moved via water, compared with 10% by truck, 5% by rail, and less than 1% by air. For example, inland waterways are responsible for shipping over 22% of domestic petroleum. These waterways are also the most fuel-efficient form of freight transportation. Railroads are 26.3% less fuel-efficient than inland waterway freight transport, and freight trucks are 77.6% less efficient. Shippers and ultimately consumers save $20.37 per ton of cargo, or $12.3 billion annually, on freight carried on these inland waterways as compared to other modes of transportation. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you took good notes. What are the short and long-term effects of canals and locks? How do canals make waterways navigable? And finally, please indicate why canals and locks are important.